Yep. This was our primary, now it's our secondary.
Okay, because you used to have the inflow pipe that came in.
Yep.
Somewhere out in the center.
Yep. And what they did, they put up an entirely new force main, goes all the way around the west side, and comes up in the central control structure there. So now we can actually control which pond we want it to go in. And then with this one, we can actually discharge either primary if we met limits all the way out to the ditch. So we got a lot more flexibility now.
Pretty good.
Is that what you got?
No, we don't.
Who was your engineer again?
Bolt did make.
I made all of them was the works.
That was padlock.
Green.
What color green?
Kind of a army green.
Really? What's that? If you what? I think they.
Okay, we're looking at Nicolet's pond system here. We can do a little scanning. Kind of standing in the middle of all four ponds here. We're even now. Look at the other ponds here. Windy out here. Looking back towards town, northerly direction.
Oh yeah. Well, you're going to put water and you raise it up and put it on it. Then you let it down.
It takes mine 3 hours to settle out.
Little shot here. There's a control structure, so you kind of see an idea of what these telescoping valves are.
Wastewater systems into our ponds.
And that's
He's in charge of
a ruler there, and he looks to see what elevation he's at, and then he looks at a chart and compares that to what the bottom of the pond is. Does a little bit of subtraction and figures out what the total depth of the pond is. So right now he has his top of his telescoping valve. You can't see it. It's at the top of the water. So pretty nice.
Plus you can throw in the DNRs.
Easy, Minnesota. See the date, time. We're looking at the aerated pond here. On the what the hell direction I'm looking at here, but I'm on the right side of me, obviously. Get over here. Middle dike. Okay, look at the other aerated pond.
Monday they were 9 feet 2 inches.
There's Arnold there studying his map. Here's our regional area office inspector. Yeah. There's our host Larry. But I'm inside the lower room here. Taking a look.
top to the water. I'm not sure exactly how deep the ponds are from there.
It's probably 3 or 4 feet of water in there, at least right now.
I think, yeah, by winter time, I know Keith likes to put about a 6, 8, 10 inches of water above the pipes before it freezes. Once when we infiltrate, though, he'll drop them down just so we can see the top of them, and then by the time it gets cold enough, there's enough water on top of it again. But I think, yeah, we get them down to right around, I think 5 foot, 4 to 5 foot of water at the lowest point.
So Larry, you're actually going through a storage cycle then by lowering them down to whatever and then, right?
Yep.
Okay. Moving video.
Levels of valves.
Leveler ride here. Tough doing it in a moving van there. This is the, again, second set of ponds aerated also, I see.
Thank you. Yeah. They're all open now. And then once we get ready to infiltrate, we'll shut all them valves on that end, and then that'll pick which pond we want to aerate in it or infiltrate it.
Okay. So how far out does the water get?
It'll pretty much get all the way across on all the ponds except for that one. It just about gets to the end on that one. But the center two probably will flood over into the next one.
Okay. So how deep does the water level get?
In these ponds,
Yeah.
just as high as them dikes.
It does?
Yeah. But the end ones maybe a foot might get in there.
Okay.
And then within a day or two they're empty.
They're all empty.
Yeah, except for like the middle one. This one will hold water for a few weeks.
Here comes Keith maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 6 infiltration basins out here.
I'm not sure if these are 6 acres in Selkirk. These are 9 also.
Yeah.
The groundwater requirements, and we're only using small capacity here because its design flow is 645, and we're putting in about 100, so we got lots of room.
Got a lot of push.
Yep. And we don't have industry, it's all domestic, so it's a pretty easy system.
So Frazee could grow to beat hell. You feel that?
Lots. Actually, we can infiltrate probably 2 months out of the year and get down and still have as much as we've got here now.
So what do you monitor for, Larry, when you put it out to the infiltration area?
Just the well fecals and nitrates, nitrites, chlorides, geldol.
Okay.
You don't have to monitor the water going into the basin.
Yeah, we do the secondary.
Okay.
Yep, same things.
Okay.
This almost beats drinking water.
Does it?
Yeah.
You got so much detention time.
Yep. Yeah, we get less
I
than
think that,
one
yeah, all the
fecal.
numbers came back the same as
Yep.
the testing well did.
Better. Yeah. We even had less than one fecal in this.
So each year you still send little batches of water over, you don't hold it for...
No. Get lots of young ducks and geese.
What kind of power cost do you have?
It's pretty low. We had 150 horse blowers, but they're way down. So we only run one.
But your actual bill, $1,000 a month, or?
Oh, not even.
No?
About 6.
Okay.
Yep. Nice day for it.
Well, in a situation like this, you know, Keith and Larry actually have an option. They can use these basins each year, or they could hold water over from year to year.
Yeah.
What might be the disadvantages of holding it if you were, you know, you could probably go 3 years. So
Yep.
what would be a disadvantage to doing that? Anybody know?
Had to get rid of it, I imagine.
See, we drop it below 6 feet, and then we can run it like just a stabilization without the aeration. So we can cut the aeration for a few months.
Sure. What I was thinking of is some guys operating this might say, well, I'm going to go 3 years before I use the basins. And in doing so, they might not go down and operate these valves. And then what can happen if you don't run those valves for 3 years? You can freeze up on it.
Especially the ones in the control structure.
So by doing at least some every year, the other thing he's accomplishing with that is he's making sure the valves work from year to year.
And I always think we've got the capability. What if something comes in during that period of time? That, you know, I think, you know, it'd sure be nice to have it here in case. Solid cattails, and right out in the middle, this one doesn't drain as well as the other 4. And I just think probably part of the, we maybe even had part of the old clay or something that absorbed into the ground, because no matter what we've done, we can't make this one drain like we do the other 4.
These are filled in then, or the old ponds?
They took everything out of them, and yeah, some of this is new sand and stuff that's in here. Actually, this appears on the one with vegetation better than the ones that they didn't plant, the new bent ones. They actually planted the vegetation, and it does drain better on those than the ones we didn't. I don't know if it's because of the root or what does it, but we can put like a couple million gallons a day, and it won't even reach the other end. It's that porous of soil or. For our eye, you got to have pretty conducive type soil or soil that's pretty permeable to accept the water.
Looks like a lot of mowing to do too.
Oh man, it's a summer's job out here. When Swift was operating, they were putting 500,000 a day in here, and then we were flooding every a basin a day and alternating. But now we can go for 3-4 days in one and then dry that one and go to the other end. So it works out pretty good. Like I said, this one takes probably 4 or 5 days to drain out, and the others will drain out in a day. And I've dug it a couple of times, and it doesn't even grow the vegetation on it. So I just think it's, you know, when they took and scraped it pretty well, but you know, over the years, all it was, the water just disappeared. 500,000 gallons come out here. One day it was gone. Yeah, it never got any higher. But we're down with only 2 months. My permit, I only have to test the monitoring wells twice during discharge time. So really, the monitoring is labor saving here compared to a lot of other places. And Keith,
obviously just by looking at it, this is just a tremendously expensive system. Crazy, it's not that big. Where they ever get
Well, we got in on some pretty good grants. I think it was almost 90% funded at the time we got in here, and then of the 10% assessment, it was like a $3.8 million project. And even our 10% was quite a bit, but at that time we had a big user, and they picked up 75% of that 10%.
So right now, what are your user charges? What do the people typically pay per month or whatever, quarter? Or
An
any idea?
average sewer use for each month would be about a $15, $18 charge. Drop them down below that 6-foot level now, and then I can shut the air blowers, and all we do is run them then strictly as a stabilization without the aeration. So that saves us quite a few bucks during the summer, and then after that, then we let it start filling up. But usually in November, December, we start the aeration, even if we are down at the low levels, because I don't want to get the diffusers used in. They're at a 4-foot level, so I don't want to have them break. Kind of watch the ice.
Alright, take a look at the infiltration area again.
He's testing you? Yeah, I'm not that old. There was 3 of them sitting there. We had a problem.
Car back there? I'll drop you off.
On there, and we got a 20,000 plow away.
system, and Mike's been struggling with this system for many, many years. You can see the 2 primaries here, those are what, almost 20 acres each? 10.9 each. Or 10.9 each, so we've got 20 acres, 22 acres of primary, and then he had less than 5 acres of secondary. And so Mike's problem always was that he didn't have enough secondary space, and couldn't batch off enough water at a time, so he was always struggling with high water levels in the ponds.
Besides the bottoms, there's the
That's the other thing, right? The bottoms, the elevation difference is the same on here. There was no elevation difference on the pond. So Mike was out here pumping every single year. And so what did we do to change the situation, Mike?
out of the 16 and a half more acres here, and you can see it's a lot lower.
He's got the elevation difference now.
The old discharge is over in that corner. The new discharge is going to be way over in that corner.
Yeah, and that presented some problems too, right? When we moved to a different discharge location.
The wetlands and
You notice that wetland on...
wanted to do like Clearbrook and just dump it in wetlands.
Yeah. Yeah. The wetland that we went by just on the right, just as we were coming through the gate. Now that's where Mike's discharge goes in. And we had people people from our standards division decided that since he was going to be discharging directly to a wetland and it was quite a bit of water, that may cause some changes to the wetland over time. And so they put in the permit requirement for Mike to monitor the vegetation in that wetland. Monitor if there's any changes that occur over time.
Soil and Water Conservation District's going to do that for 5 years.
Right, so he's got the SWCD is going to do that. Now, did they get some grant money, or are they going to use some water planning money to do that, or something like that? So the city isn't actually going to get stuck with the bill on that, but it's just one more requirement that went into this particular permit. What's the other problem, Mike?
The other problem?
The other problem. What do you got to meet
our
before you get
phosphorus?
Phosphorus, right. Mike never had a phosphorus limit before when he had the old system, but it's something that the Lake Association has been pushing for quite some time. It was something that we implemented in the new permit. And last fall was the first time you treated, right? And you can see he didn't really...
spring too.
And this spring he had to do it too. But last fall he wasn't set up to treat for phosphorus. He didn't have a pontoon, he didn't have a boat landing out in there, so tell him what you did.
You've seen those hydro seeders that spray the grass seed on? And one of them in Bemidji and had him come out here. He can reach just about halfway across the pond.
Did you treat just this pond?
No, the old way we discharge is one primary and the secondary go at one time.
Okay, so you do the secondary and one primary.
And he's going to have to do that now. I sent samples in yesterday and thinking that he'll have to do it next week. Get the results and spray again. About 5,000 gallons.
Mike, would you say that again? How many gallons?
About 5,000 gallons, Alan.
And how many acres?
In 10.9 and 4.6.
Okay. Any idea what it costs? How much that costs for that?
It's right around 80 cents a gallon.
80 cents a gallon. Delivered here.
Yep.
Okay.
Tanker truck just delivers it right down here and they pump it right out of there into the truck.
Okay.
First time was an experience. It was dry. And they mix with water, dump the bags in there. It was, first load was 3 pallet loads and then 3 more pallet loads. Dusty, blowing all over. It turns to an acid once you get it wet. So it's all over there, like plating on the truck.
So the next time you went with liquid Allen, right?
At least that's saves the handling.
Yeah, and it's a slurry kind of, isn't it? The liquid stuff?
It's white, or not white, but clear. And as it cools off, it gets thicker. It comes hot.
Does it?
You've got an insulated truck. It comes out of Canada. It's warm when it gets here.
About 80 degrees.
What are your influent phosphorus numbers?
Anywhere from 2.5 to 2.9.
What were you knocking it down to for your discharge?
And the discharges were down just below 2. Just barely.
Below 2?
Yeah.
But you don't have a 1 limit?
Well, when we put the alum on, we were dropping it down to 7.7, or that one was 4.9.
Okay.
In fact, the one pond last fall, I didn't have to put anything in because it was down at 7.77 to begin with, because we put extra in because of the mixing. We don't have the mixing.
You see it working right away when you put it on?
Oh, it's neat to see.
Turns flock white right away. In fact, it knocked the solids way down too.
Yeah, the water just got crystal clear.
Next day it was like this water.
So now what's the plan for the future? You can't keep using the hydro seeder every year.
No. The pontoon boat, the landing's going to go right over in this corner. There's going to be a big truck turnaround in there for a 5,000 gallon alum tank. And discharge, like I said, is out of that corner.
Why didn't they put a boat landing in when they built
The plan was to go to spray irrigation, so they weren't even planning for phosphorus removal. And then when the way the timing worked out, when they got the results back on the fields, they weren't going to be acceptable. They had, what, maybe 70 or 80 acres that would have been acceptable. That was not nearly enough.
Close to 200.
Needed close to 200. Then they had to do an about face and decide that they were still going to be a discharging system.
sort of option where for discharges is discharge into the wetlands or pipe it back all the way over to here and discharge over the river. Which I think this is the better option. You've got that much distance between the river and the discharge point.
There's lots of last minute scrambling.
The whole pond was project. This whole pond was that way. It started out X is the pond, and then it turned around and, well, no, the clay isn't good enough. You need to put a liner in. And then, well, yeah, that works good, but you'd have groundwater too high, so now you have to put a drain tile system in. Then we're going to go spray irrigation and then turn around and put alum in.
So what was the overall cost to build this thing, Mike?
It started at 750.
750,000?
Right now it's going to be about 1.6 million.
1.6 million. Okay.
Spray irrigation would have been 1.8.
Okay.
Your tank, that's going to be a metal tank?
No, plastic.
It'll be plastic, exterior plastic.
Yes.
No building.
No. There'll be a building there, but it'll be for the boat and for the lawnmower.
Your tank will be exterior.
It's pretty secluded up here, and it's all game reserve, and the neighbor down there, anytime he hears any noise up here, he's up here kicking people out of it. He owns the woods, so I think we'll be safe from bullets.
Hope.
Hope, yeah. And that'll be one 5,000 gallon tank.
So now, Mike, your plans for the small pond here is to just...
Okay.
When they rip-rapped here.
It's an example of some pretty nice riprap.
Yeah.
You don't look at the primary ponds too much because part was done before I got here, and then we'd added some more, and then they had to patch in this last time when they did it. This here stuff was all done in one shot.
Yeah, you can see the fabric in place, and you can see the depth of the riprap too.
So you're not discharging out of this, you haven't discharged out of this
No water's
yet?
come out of it yet, Steve.
Okay. So the discharge you're going to do, you're still going to use this other discharge point?
That's what you get when you create old water.
Yeah.
You could, well, when the water...
Not enough critters in this one.
Huh. So I'm looking here at the brand new secondary pond of Bagley. It's 15.9 acres, and it has roughly about 2 feet of water in it. If you can tell, but I'll zoom in on it. Clear. It hasn't had any wastewater in it.
If you had to, for some reason, now you could bring that up here, you could add another couple of feet to it if you had to.
You must have that hell of a good lift station.
Up to 25 horse motors sitting over the hill.
Mike, where'd they bring the rock in from?
From Gazelles, just north on 92. He opened a pit and took that all out of there.
That's one.
Designed something, some sort of insulated cover or something so you could, in the wintertime, it freezes solid, so now you make a transfer. You have to do something. Probably double salt down in there to thaw it out so I can transfer. They say hay bales, but to me that seems like that's back in the 50s.
Yeah, one last shot here. I'm looking at the 2 old primary ponds of Bagley. Can't remember the size again, but I'm looking right down the dike, and I'll do a little swing around here to the west. And I believe the city is over there somewhere. I think it's, oh, there's the water tower. Okay, coming back over here to the old secondary. And swinging around again to the east, and on the other side of the pickups is the new secondary. Last look at the ponds. I'm looking north again. On the left here is the old secondary. swinging around to the dike between the primary and the old secondaries, the old system. And then the adjacent dike between the old primaries and the new secondary. Quite a change from the last 10 or 12 years that we've been here. It's unbelievable.